recently I was doing a little bit of a update to check on friends, see how they're doing, and I came across Two Piece, did a Q&A with his audience. Hi, Two Piece, oh my god, hi. I thought to myself, it has been a while since I last did one of those Q&As, and I said, fuck it, why not? I thought to myself, hey, it has been a long time since I last did an AMA, because I do have people occasionally asking me, when are you going to do the next one? And I was like, I don't know, like, would people want me to do one? So I didn't have any expectations when I make that account. I didn't think much of it, so I just posted the link and I said, hey, you know what, just ask whatever you want, because I wanted to do something a little bit different, right? Let's be a little bit more no filters, you know, on everything. So for legal disclaimer, I gotta put it out there, if you are under the age of 18 and you're watching this, you shouldn't be here, and if you insist on watching, I will not be responsible for you. So, that out of the way, hello everybody, my name is Loprov, you can also call me Spencer, and this is 101 Questions with me. Oh my god, it's 101 questions. 101, how am I gonna finish all this? So these questions are not in order, so I'm just gonna pick out whatever I see, and unfortunately I know that there were a few more that came in after that. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your question, but you could feel free, and always do feel free, to come up to me and ask me directly instead, or just drop me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, the first one, oh god, when will we get the AD? I wanna see, I'm not reading the last word. So I did say before, this is going to be a no filter, you know, adult oriented version. So I don't advertise it. I do have one. I just prefer not to advertise it. If you find it, you find it. If you know it, you know it. You see it, you see it, you know, that kind of stuff. So, well, I hope that answers your question. And no, it's not on Twitter. I actually shifted it off the platform. So it's now somewhere in some certain messaging app, if that makes sense. All right. So good luck. If you find it, you find it. Have you had any parasocial relationship? Yes, I do. And in fact, in recent times, I had to deal with another one that was a borderline stalker, but I will leave the long answer for when you come poke me. All right, so come ask me about the story. I'll tell you more off screen, simply because, you know, the last thing I want to do is to talk too much in front of the camera, and then it becomes this long-winded ass story that nobody just gives a shit about anyway. So yes, I do. I still have one right now. And all I'm saying is I try to understand from their perspective. I'm grateful for the support, but at the same time, I'm also kind of concerned, where is this coming from, kind of thing, right? And I try to understand as much as I can, and if possible, build a relationship out of it, an actual, you know, social relationship that's healthy, and we could call it we're friends, you know, but at the same time with some respect for each other, a mutual respect, and, you know, everything else. So yes, I do. What country do you live in? And you are cute. Thank you very much. Although I don't know what's so special about me, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you are cute. No, you. This is a little bit of a difficult question for me to answer, only because of where I'm currently at and how I grew up. So I am originally from Singapore, but because of, you know, growing up and then moving on to work that needs me in different places, well, in a very blunt way to put this, I spend most of my time growing up overseas. And it's like, for example, I could spend a few years straight in Malaysia, in Taiwan, in Japan, in China even, and now most in recent years, mostly in the US, and potentially actually moving there for future work projects and everything, or Canada. So it's a little bit of a hard question. I'm like kind of like a nomad, right? Imagine I'm a bit of a nomad where I don't really have a place to reside in until at least I decide to retire from work, you know. So I hope that answers your question, and I'm very sorry if this is not a very clear one I could give. I know you since 2021. I always loved your songs, and you're the best friend I could have. Future DJ Larson. Oh, hi Larson. Hello. I'm very bad at French, but okay. How do you say good evening in French? Oh, bonsoir. Like, Did I get that right? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your support. As always, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hope you and your loved ones out there are doing okay. And, you know, I'm just happy to be here and I will continue to do my best for y'all. I should stop drinking so much coffee. This is like the 8th cup I had in the last 2 hours. Favorite struggle meal? You know, that's an interesting question. Good question, because at least to me, it's a good one because I grew up poor and growing up in poverty gives you that ability to get creative with your food, right? And in this case, what I don't have. Like I only had like egg and rice. And I remember when I was 12, in this case, I was so broke to the point because I didn't have parents taking care of me. It was just me by myself in an apartment, a very tiny one. And I had 80 cents in my pocket and I was like, shit, you know, I gotta eat. There's no one out there. I got no relatives. I got no one looking out for me. So I went to the nearby stall to get like a bag of rice for like 30 cents. And back then you can actually buy eggs, like just one, like a singular egg. So I went home to learn how to fry an egg for the first time. I fucked the whole egg up. It was bad. Like it looks like it just fell off the staircase or something. But that was the first time I picked up cooking, you know, and ever since then, that became a comfort meal of its own for me. So even when I'm busy or anything else, hey, it's a practical meal. It's great. I'll just probably add a bit of vegetables and whatnot in it every now and then. But it's something that I live with till now, you know. So I hope that answers the question. Egg and rice. Do you realize you're hot as hell? First of all, thank you very much. But at the same time, I do not know what you see in me because I'm unappealing, or at least how I look at it, because every morning I wake up, I want you to imagine this. You wake up, you look in the mirror like, there's a pasty person in the mirror. Oh, that's me. And I'm pretty sure that one of my boobs is bigger than the other. And it's kind of weird. And I probably should go for jogs a little bit more instead of sitting on my fat ass. That's why you see me standing here right now, because I sit down way too much. I sit down way too much for my own good. But thank you very much. I appreciate you. Although I still ask myself, what's hot about me? Like what? I'm happy anytime I see you on my timeline since you are always doing something funny or interesting. Would like to know you, but am a little too scared to approach. Now, first of all, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way, but I'm a normal fucking person. I'm so normal to the point I do pick my nose, I fart, and I drool in my sleep. Okay, I'm normal just like everyone else. There's nothing inherently special about me. I want you to find comfort in that when I tell you this and come to me, talk to me, let's be friends, right? Because that's the whole point of being here in the fandom, right? You want to make new friends, you want to vibe, you want to actually hang out and do stuff. Like I'm just a normal person in my own corner in the ass crack of the internet, just, you know, finding something to do to make people happy. And that's really just it. So please don't be a stranger, come talk to me. I regret that I have, you know, slow reply times because of all the shit I'm doing, plus my day job that needs me. I could only say, for, you know, as much as I would love to, I will respond to you as fast as I can afford to. Okay, this is the same thing I tell everyone else. I am so sorry, but I will get back to each and every one of you as often as I can, as fast as I can. All right, so please don't be a stranger. Come up to me, talk to me. All right, let's go hang out, let's chill or something like that. Okay. Have you ever been called daddy before? Smiley face. Oh my god. Okay. Couple of times at the very most. That's about it. But I did get people calling me unhinged Asian uncle for some reason. I actually don't quite know why, but you know what? Fuck it. Why is your character so disproportionately muscular? I would say that is actually based off my ideal peak, which I was really close to at one point for bodybuilding some years back before health issues got in the way and I had to give that up to recover. And it has been, what, 5-6 years at least already. And, you know, it's something that I would want to get back into as soon as I'm medically cleared to lift weights again. And well, I mean, of course I'm exercising, but it's not as much as I would love to, as often as I want to, because I still have my, you know, gym set, the bench and everything just stuffed in the storeroom. I'm like, I would like to take those out and actually bench my weight again. So yeah, pineapple on pizza. You know, that's a classic question at this point. I'm not against it. I'm not entirely with it. It's like cool, okay. But, you know, I don't particularly find it very enjoyable. It's kind of like just a topping on its own, right? Cool. But would I hate it? Definitely not. Are you single? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just don't talk about it. That's all. Life happens, right? So, what's your favorite position to fuck? Oh god. Okay, who sent this? Who the fuck sent this? Okay, no filter AMA. I gotta be honest. Okay, so I'm very vanilla as a person, right? So I really don't know much about what all these sexy time things, bedroom stuff are all about. So it feels like I am late to the party, and so I was asking my friends like a classic idiot, and I was like, hey, what is this? What is that? And they were sharing with me like, oh, you should try this. So they're very nice people, right? And they're teaching me like, oh, all these positions, you should think about this, go read this book. It helps you with the position and stretchings and whatnot. I was like, oh, cool. Wow, I'm learning. And I think the one thing I find particularly interesting is mating press. It's pretty challenging to hold that position, but I think it's also very intimate at the same time. So it's kind of like a win for both parties when they're doing it kind of thing. So if I were to ever get laid in that sense where, it's I would say that would be it, favorite club you have performed for. Now, personally, I do not have a personal favorite simply because I like to show respect to each and every venue that I work with or work in, at least at some capacity or some way. And I like to explore that concept on its own than to put any comparison to it, so that way you could enjoy it as is. And that's why I always go with the key rule that I should, at least for myself, right, that I should not have any kind of personal preferences to anything. And that's really it. Will you be making another AMA video? Because the amount of fucking questions that came in just 24 hours, I said to myself, fuck it, let's just make an AMA out of this one, alright? Consider a new update in a different vertical format so people could actually watch it on their phones or whatever. But yes, this is the AMA. It's 101 questions with Loprov. Hi! Oh god, I fucking hate this. Wood. Absolutely wood. Wood what? Wood. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Or, wood? Wood what? Wood what? Would you park your car properly? I don't know, like, wood what? Would I jump on a trampoline? I don't know, yeah. Favorite con you've been to and why? No personal favorites, as mentioned earlier on. I choose not to have any, just so I could enjoy each and every convention on its own with its own unique appeals and what they have. So, it's more fun that way, right? Do you fart? Like any functioning person with an anus, yes, I do fart. With things you've alluded to in your set, is there something that you're worried might take you out? I have moved very far away from worrying about it to working on it and hoping to resolve it as soon as possible, or as soon as I can afford to, that is. Without divulging too much details of what's exactly happening, I would say it's under control for now, and I'm not that worried as compared to like maybe 5 years ago on its first discovery and everything. Yeah, don't worry about it. Loprov is a wizard, charming, sweet, and very goofy. Hugs and kisses. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know what's charming about myself. Like I'm just a nobody in the corner, just blabbering incoherently, and I could probably offend a few people along the way without even realizing because I'm so blunt. But thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You are one of my biggest inspiration for all my work, and thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words, and if anything at all, I will continue to do my best for you and everyone around you and everyone around all of us, right? Something you secretly liked doing yet didn't show it. Also, Mudru. Oh my god, I think I know who this is. Ryloth, what the fuck, man? Anyway, so one thing I like to do, and this is something I learned from my grandma, is that I tend to cook extra portions, and this started from the habit of course, not just myself growing up poor and not being able to afford meals at days at a time and stuff, but also from my grandma, who I actually took inspiration from for most of my life principles and also the things I do in general for be it myself and people around me. I would like to actually see people not have to go hungry, at least for that evening or that day itself, right? Because I learned this when I was probably starting out working as a chef back then. And there were people who are so shy about getting a second portion of food, but they just simply naturally eat a lot, right? But they're so shy about it that they go hungry for the rest of the day, and because different people have different appetite. So I didn't want them to feel awkward about it, so I always come up with an excuse and just laugh, oh no, I made some extra portions. Okay, you can have those if you want. And just like, here, or let me get it for you, that kind of thing. And so that they don't feel awkward about it, they don't feel shy, and nobody should be denied the basic right of food, especially if they're hungry. And of course, if you stuff your face because of stress eating, then I will probably scream at you. But at the same time, I would say I kind of enjoy that. I kind of enjoy watching people not have to worry about food, not have to worry about the essential stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like one of the things I like to do. I like feeding people. That sounds like someone's kink for some reason. Anyway, you are an inspiration. You always bring a smile to my face when you're around. Oh, thank you. But if having a pasty Asian in your life is a good thing, thank you very much for your kind words. Sorry to be a mild annoyance in your life. I bet you make the meanest egg fried rice. I honestly do not know anything about how good it would be because, different people, different preferences, but I would love to make some for you and you try it, then you tell me if it's good enough to be have the title of the meanest egg fried rice. What do your fans not do that you wish they did do? Now, to me, I don't usually like to use the word fans. I always believe that especially in the community itself, doing stuff like be it music, art, or anything else, I always have this belief that maybe it's just me, right? But everybody is a friend you haven't met. And I like to live by that ideal. So whenever I go out to meet people, it also eases the tension that some people would have. Like there's some people, especially like a few that actually had a difficult time trying to reach out to me and talk to me for whatever reasons that they have, and I want to break the ice. So it's a lot easier. So I like to see it as, but if for the sake of just addressing this question, then I would say I don't really have anything to ask of people who support me in what I do, simply because I don't think I have the rights to, actually, because I don't feel like I have the rights. So I actually don't even have anything to ask of anyone. All I ask is for them to be happy with themselves and the things that they endeavor in, and do good for themselves and the people around them. That's really it. I'm a simple person like that. So yeah, that's a good question though. You are a cute little goober, Dirk, and I wish time zones wanna fuck up so bad so we could hang out more. Miss ya. I miss you too, whoever it is, and I'm sorry we couldn't hang out as much. Especially, I think the most difficult time zone for me to catch up with is the European time zones, but I would say I will still do my best to try and reach out as much as I can. And please don't be a stranger, especially if we know each other. I do feel terrible that I cannot reply everyone in time, because every time I'm awake, and some days of the week, everybody's asleep, and vice versa and stuff like that. But hey, life always comes first, right? I always believe in life always coming first, and then everything else, the fun and whatnot, comes after. So focus on that. I'm sure we'll meet again. What is your favorite vacation place? Wow, that's a very good question, because I'm gonna be very honest and just tell you that there's not much money in my wallet to even consider about vacation in the first place. And every time I travel, it's always be it for work or doing something community related and stuff. And it was just, so I never really sat down to think about it. But if there's one place I could think of, based on the ones I've already been to, it's gotta be somewhere in the quieter side of Taiwan and also Malaysia, because I travel there more often than compared to the rest of the world. But I would say those couple of places. But of course, it will be one of my friend's house in Bali, Indonesia. Just stay away from the roadside stalls if you can, because you don't want to get this thing called TD, traveler's diarrhea. Oh, that shit fucked me up the whole week when I was there. But I like somewhere that cost of living is not insane, and I could live like a local, experiencing the local cultures and everything. So regardless of where it is, actually. So that's kind of like my favorite kind of vacation place, if that answers your question, I hope. Smash what? Potatoes, smash broccoli, smash trampolines. I don't know the quote, but okay, I guess. I don't know. I actually don't know what I'm agreeing to even. If you could travel freely, not for work, where would you want to go? Sweden or Switzerland? But between the two, if I can only pick one, I would like to go to Switzerland and live there for a month. Just experience everything over there. Although when I saw the price tags of the cost of living over there in general, I kind of shit myself a little bit because it was really fucking expensive. I was like, my currency is not going to hold up very well for this shit. So yeah, but of course, Sweden mainly because NFC, I've heard so much about it and I saw so much photos and everything. It looks really nice. The neighborhood looks great and the people seem very nice over there. And I would love to actually visit at one point, but I don't think I could afford that, honestly. With my current situation, this is July 2025. I just managed to figure some stuff out and I could tell you it's going to take quite a while and I don't know if I could catch up in time. So, that's all I'm saying. Switzerland or Sweden or just anywhere in Europe, really. I just want to see the world, right? I just want to see the world while I still can. Have you been lifting, boy? Okay, I have a funny feeling I know who this is from. If you are Sir Space Dragon, hi SSD, it has been a while. I missed you. I hope everything is well in the end. And in case you're watching this, I just want you to know that I'm very happy for you as always. And I want you to keep winning. I want you to keep lifting. Unfortunately, like I said, no filters AMA. Full disclosure, I couldn't lift anymore for the last 2 years because of some medical complications. So I'm waiting for a good time to check in with the doctors to confirm that I'm okay to lift without any lasting damage to myself. And then I could join you and I could go back to bodybuilding again, which is kind of sad, because I don't have the muscle mass, but I do have the strength that was retained, thankfully. It's just kind of weird. So I kind of scare a couple of people and I just pulled the fridge by myself because it was stuck outside my door when I had to replace the old one. Don't worry about it anyway. But yes, I have been lifting lighter ones, 10, a plate of 10, a plate of 20, small things. Nothing too crazy, okay? Nothing like 80 or 100, just small ones. And in case if you're not, well, I hope you're doing okay too, and I still want you to win in life. Best novabeast, go. Bit of an unpopular dog shit take from me is that I'm not really into the novabeast design. I like it, but not to a point where I would have the capability to decide which one's the best. But if I want to go on a bit of a bias route, I'll just say T-Sop, for example. And Nymphie, and Love Juice, and let me think. Who else? Oh, that's a lot actually. Most of my friends, half of them are like novabeast. Adara, the Atomic. Shit, I don't know. He looks like a Q-tip though. Yeah. So those are the few. Are you going to MFF? I would love to, but I cannot afford it. Straight up, no cap. I just cannot afford it. So we'll see what happens. If I ever could, I would love to. Never considered to DJ in AC. Okay, without going too much into details, yes, I have considered before, but obviously, just like the previous question, I cannot afford to be there. So, here I am in VR mostly. That's why but yeah, no, I did think about every now and then when people ask me. It'll be quite cool, actually. You seem eternally exhausted with the workload you have, yet want to take on more projects. What keeps you going? Now, full disclosure, I'm not gonna lie, it is tiring, but I feel it is supposed to be that way. You're supposed to feel exhausted from something you're so committed to because you care a lot about it, you're passionate about the things that you want to do, and that's why you tire yourself out because you focus so much energy on it, right? And if you're not feeling tired from that, it's either the task that you do is too easy, that you're not challenging yourself enough, or it is not something you care about. At least that's from my personal opinion, right? And what keeps me going with the entire thing that I do, be it in VR, outside the VRs, and just my job or whatever, it's knowing that the results would potentially help someone somewhere out there. I may or may not get the chance to meet them ever, and I know I won't be able to reach out to every single person in existence that my content and whatever that I do has already connected with them. But I know that the things that I create could potentially help someone find something in there. And that's kind of like what keeps me going. As long as it's be it a smile, a laugh, a point to discuss with friends, something to help them think about the good old days, things like that, to all the good times once upon a time and to all the good times ahead of us and everything else in between. That's what keeps me going. The people. And for the record, I'm actually tired all the time not because of, I got so much shit to do. It's only because I am just tired all the time. I gotta stop masturbating. You disappeared from Asia after last year. What happened, man? I mean, I'm still here. I've always been here. I just probably because I chose to streamline my platforms into a core few like Blue Sky, Twitter, maybe TikTok, although it's just a repost of the contents I've already done before. My Telegram channel has always been there. I haven't really went missing. I've always been here. Just, yeah, hello, I guess. I still don't know who this is, but hi. Do you regret letting anyone go? No, not really. Honestly, I don't. Simply because I feel like, if anything at all, don't regret having to make some decisions to protect yourself or even the people around you, for example. Be glad that it happened and it was a chapter in your story of your life. And be it for yourself and or people around you. Some things are meant to happen to pave a longer path, even though we don't know what that path could be. What's a brutal advice you can give to peers that most do not dare to say? Oh god, this is gonna get me fucking cancelled. Okay, so this is based off my recent conversation with a friend. All right, I'm pretty sure he's watching this. I'm not gonna say the name. Hello. And he was asking me for some life advice and everything. And because this is I'm gonna keep my word. This is a no filters AMA. This is gonna get me fucking cancelled, but I'm just gonna put this out here, okay? All my opinions are but from myself, my own views, my personal observations, my opinions, my thoughts, and my observations and experiences, blah, 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 okay? So anyway, he was asking me about like how to deal with some issues that he was facing with certain people that were less than desirable to have in his life, right? And he was being quiet about it, and he was asking me if this was the right thing to do, and I said, you think silence is wisdom, but it's just laziness wearing a halo. Because if you've got all the insight to identify the problems that you see, but not the balls to speak up, then you're not enlightened. You're part of the problem, and you're just scared to be disliked. And yeah, I realized that that's probably why a lot of people don't like me as well, because I am very blunt on things. And mind you, I really put people's feelings into consideration. And if I have to say something like that, it hurts me too. I just want to put it out there. It hurts me. Now imagine how I feel when I have to say that, knowing that it's gonna hurt. You want to do EU cons? Yes, I would really, really, really like to, but I can't afford it. There's so many fun places to look at. I want to try that spuds with baked beans and everything, but I can't afford it. Who the fuck pays £8 for a kebab? Why is it so fucking expensive? But yes, I would love to. I really would. If I could afford it, and I want to do it as many as I can, because there's so many places I want to explore in Europe, and all the cons, all the great people that I want to see, and just have a ball of a time, right? You gonna do any shows in Asia? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's not a yes, but it's not a no. We'll see what happens. Are you single? Yeah, I just don't talk about it. I mean, life happens, right? Wait, hang on a second. I thought I answered this before. Top 3 worst IRL clubs/shows you ever had and why? I once went to a club where the dance floor had 30 people capacity and the stage itself was on wooden pallets. The bar area was 3 times bigger, by the way. I know who this is. I'm not gonna say your name. Good seeing you. Please, send my love to the family and the cats. I thought I told you the stories, like the one that shat his pants, the VIP, and the other one that actually started a fight with a light post. Anyway, don't worry about it. So because the sheer amount of bullshit that comes from work meant a lot of stand-up comedy potential materials, if you were to turn into a stand-up comedian, you just have to find the right way to deliver the thing, right? I am not going to be able to tell all the stories, but I will tell you this one in a very summarized fashion, okay? So this one, I'll leave it to you guys to decide. If you want to ask me about the stories, I will sit down. I'll be more than happy to show you pictures of how fucked up it was. It was fucking awful. Anyway, so this was from a time when I was working in a party bar, right? So it's a concept bar that serves, really posh drinks, cocktails, everything. It was touted as the country's one of the finest actually. And it was known and renowned for having proper retro classics dance music and stuff like that, you know. So one night they were doing a Friday night retro party and stuff, you know, the typical stuff, run-of-the-mill music. You have your Belinda Carlisle, you have Bananarama, Rick Astley, Wang Chung, and then you have El Corey or Square Room, whatever the fuck that was. So no, I'm not that old. In fact, I was actually touted the youngest in the group that I was working with back then, and my senior, a very good friend of mine, he was kind of older than me, and we were just sitting at the bar. So I want you to imagine, okay, so this is the entrance of the bar. It's a very long, skinny looking, fucking corridor looking design, and then there's the entrance, and then you have the place where it's a bar, but if people started standing around and crowd everywhere, so standing capacity not much, like 150, 200 people, something like that. And then you have the bar that's on the side, and then my DJ console's at the back. So I was not on duty, I was just standing there because, you know, I could put beer on the tab and I could just drink it. So I was just going there to check out what's happening, hang out with them. And what happened was, there was a lady that actually was wearing very skimpy, you know, dress. It was rolling up half the time, and she didn't seem like she minded a lot because she actually climbed up on the bar countertop and started dancing, right? So she was like dancing, and then the dress was just like getting higher and higher. You get the idea, right? So the guys at the bottom had no issues. They were just staring like that. Half the time, they were just... So I want you to imagine that they're making that face while they're dancing, and I'm just looking at it from a distance, and we're just laughing at it. So I was holding my beer, I was like, ha ha ha. Fucking perverts, these people are fucking horny. Anyway, so, but here comes the problem, right? Those guys disappeared, and then suddenly there was a barrier, like a hole that was formed in the crowd that was getting bigger and bigger. That was like they're running away from the lady, but very low key. So they're like separating themselves from the lady that crawled on the countertop that was dancing halfway, and then she got down halfway. So we thought, oh, okay, the dance is over. Okay, so she's behaving herself, because we did see a couple of our security friends over there just taking care of the thing. And then my friend who was the bar captain, he was screaming for the cleaner. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what happened? And when I heard, fuck, not again, I was like, oh, okay. And then as it turns out, the lady was dancing, and then halfway through, apparently she lost control of herself so much that she lost control of her bowel movements as well. So she not only passed the party vibe check, she also passed motion on herself. And there was shit just dribbling. Okay, this is a bit graphic. I'm sorry, this is TMI, but yeah, you can imagine what happened next. So it was just me holding my beer the whole time, and I was just nudging my senior like, hey, what the fuck, dude? And they were just, fuck it. I just want to go home now. And yeah, so that's just one of the many ones. So feel free to poke me for very weird stories. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Fucked up. See, when you drink to the point you shit your pants, that's fucked up. That's not fun anymore, okay? Don't do that. Please don't do that. Drink responsibly, all of you. How to stay so humble and amazing when you're so talented? Thank you very much for your kind words. I really appreciate your words. And I think I could only answer that by saying that, you know, I'm just a nobody on the internet, and I'm very happy to be here in the ass crack of the internet doing my own things, you know, and just to make a few people happy and stuff like that. I try not to overthink too much about the whole paradigm of, what it means to be a content creator, this and that. The numbers actually don't really matter to me at the end, and let's just leave it as that. For me, my key focus has always and always will be to create content that people could connect with, and then to make them smile, and then rinse, wash, repeat, and that's really it. If I get to do that, that's kind of like part of my joy as well. And, you know, I like to keep it as simple as that. How much money you got? Yes, I can answer this one. I have $5, some lint, and some ass hair. I'm fucking broke, man. Broke from responsibilities, okay? Responsibilities like bills. What's the best cuddle? What is the best? Sorry. What is the best cuddle position? Are you a big or little spoon? Okay, despite my appearance, I really, really, really exclusively like to be the little spoon. And it's kind of unfortunate that I eat too much, so I grew into this, according to some of my peers, fee-fi-fo fun motherfucker. Do you like anyone right now? Yes, I actually do. I do have someone in mind. Actually, a few, but regardless of anyone that I want to see, to be very honest, in my current circumstances, mainly because of my physical existence of where I am at currently, until I'm able to resolve this in the coming year, it's going to be very difficult for me to maintain any relationship whatsoever. and it sucks, it honestly sucks. So I will continue to like them until they probably find a partner of their own, and it'll be quite nice because there'll be no telling of how long would it take for me to actually fix this situation of mine, like relocating for work and everything. And I wish them all the best, On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love long Furbies? This is definitely not from the food fan. No way. Hi, foodie. And no, it's a 3 out of 10 from me. Okay, so I got nothing against Furbies, right? Don't get me wrong. I just grew up with a very weird, relationship with TV. And I remember this was some kind of, I think it was a movie, and something about Furbies like terrorizing people in general, and I haven't really had the best impression ever since, if I'll be honest. But I'm definitely not against it. I know that there's people who like it, and I am all for it, right? And it's just the concept of it has never really sat well with it. So when I saw the long Furbies that you brought, that was kind of interesting. I was like, for some reason, yeah, so yeah. Do you like Digimon? Well, not really familiar with the concept, but I have seen it a couple times. Do I only get one question? No, I mean, this is already 2 questions. Okay, how about, have you seen Gundramon? Yeah, I think so, but it's like 3 questions in one. I mean, that's fine. Why do you gotta be so damn cute? Oh, I'm not cute. I'm kind of pasty. I mean, I appreciate it, but what's your personal favorite of the sets you've released in the last few years? I think the word's personal. Yeah. Better phrased, which set are you most proud of? I don't really have any personal favorite per se, because, I like to treat everything on its own. And on the other hand, let's say if we look at the amount of effort that actually go into a performance, then I would say for the first time ever, it would be Furality I's production itself, where the only 2 things would be shout out to Pam for being the VJ and Cat Food for actually working on the lights. So the rest of it was screenwriting, directing, producing, getting the special guests on board, like ValueFactory and Kazuki as well. And it was a lot of rehearsals, months of planning, revising, and trying to get the key scenes right, trying to get people to participate in it. Although I do have to admit, I botched my own schedule because, life stuff happened and got in the way, and I had to work around a lot of ideas. So in terms of the amount of effort that was poured into a set, then I think Furality I is probably the heaviest one, because the community special that's on YouTube right now through Tsoft's channel is another set of production as well on its own. And it also included, and fun fact, a lot of people actually don't know this, there is a director's commentary that I actually explain to people, like behind the scenes, like this is exactly what happened, the thought processes, the reasons of why I'm adding this and that. So the storytelling element gets a little bit of a facelift in that sense, right? So perhaps I would say arguably Furality I's community special. That would be the one that I spent the most amount of time on. I'm tired and I probably won't do it again. Maybe. How many times / people ignored no fucking on the dance floor? lmao. That's a question I ask myself sometimes as well. I'm very sorry. I don't have a number to work with, so I don't really have an answer for this. But I did overhear quite a handful, and I'm very sorry the staff affected that they had to deal with this. And please don't fuck on the dance floor. Just bring it back up to bedroom. It's a bedroom thing, alright? Please. You don't see the way I look at you. I don't know how you look at me, but I hope it's nothing bad. My friend has had a crush on you for the longest time. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, although I don't really have much to offer in terms of relationship. And I think in my past relationship, probably one of the very few I had, I was described as a very preoccupied and absent person, and I'm not very good at being romantic. And but thank you. I hope you find someone though. Cute. Know you. Miss you so much. I miss you too, whoever it is. Be honest, are you and Kazuki dating? The both of you keep giving off couple vibes on stage during sets. It's freaking adorable. No, I want you to imagine it's kind of like an old married couple vibe. No, we're not, right? He's the one that has a partner and I'm the one that strangely doesn't for some weird reason. So I'm kind of like the really odd one out in every social group. And I just sit there with my beer and I'm just, and that's really it. So no, we're not dating. I would say I am kind of confused why I'm still here like this, so we'll leave it as it is, right? Would you consider collabing with musicians like CK9C, NIIC and YonKaGor? Now, this is an interesting question. I had quite a few people asking me about this. Now, for myself, I am, like I said before, multiple times, and I'll probably say it again and again, that I am just a nobody in the ass crack of the internet, just doing like my own things for a few people, put a smile on people's faces, and that's really just it. But when it comes to collaborations with musicians, usually it's all about vibe, sound direction, and for me, I have a penchant for types of sound, right, that fits the musician that I work with. So in this case, for example, I work with When Snake Sings. Hi, JT, hello, oh my god, hi. I'm not sure if he's watching this, but it's okay anyway. So I would try to study and understand what the musician I'm working with sound like, and I try to fit into that narrative through my own ways, and we try to meet each other halfway on that sense. And if I'm able to have a conversation like this with them, I would definitely be more than happy to look into it, How does it feel when you're a guest of honor for 2 cons in a single year? Very honored, truly honored, but also very fucking terrified because I have never done anything guest of honor related. So, well, full disclosure, the furthest I've ever done was to do just a couple of panels, as a panelist, a guest panelist for a couple of university lecturers that I used to work with, and that was really it. But I've never done guest of honor work, so for me, it felt like, wow, the responsibility on my shoulders is actually very heavy, and compared to pretty much everyone else that I share the same table with, I am the least qualified person in my endeavor compared to them. And I am just very happy and very grateful that I am given an opportunity to be able to bring some joy to people anywhere in the world, whoever wants me or believe in me enough that I could do something for their community, right? And I am very, very nervous, yeah. Do you have a bucket list? Now, I used to have a very long one, big ones, like grand adventures, all boys camping trips, all the things that's pretty fun, right? But I think for myself, to the very least, for now, I condensed that a little bit, took out some that were quite impractical to fulfill this lifetime. And I told myself, hey, I would like to actually finish my tattoos. So fun fact, a lot of people actually still don't know this, but there's quite a few that I actually seen in person before. Now, aside from my left thigh in this avatar, everything else on my body is the actual, are the actual tattoos that I have on my IRL body. The only issue is that it's never a cheap thing to actually endeavor, in tattoos and everything, and it's very permanent. And I know I've planned this for many, many years, so the only reason why I want to finish it before anything happens is simply because it's actually the final key piece of the puzzle, where I realized writing it on a book is one thing, but I wanted a medium. I wanted a medium to actually be able to connect all the points. And of course, I could have done it on a canvas, like an offset canvas, like a large, big A0 size canvas, draw it with and work with a couple of artists to pen it down, draw it. But this was one weird realization that I had, and I'm not sure if anyone could, agree with it, but it's just a personal thing, where I had this discovery that I had a friend, right? So he's an artist, illustrator, and he drew this canvas, and I think it was a few years ago, if I'm not wrong. Then what happened was that canvas disappeared halfway through while he was moving in between houses and everything. And then by the time we found it, it turns, the canvas was damaged by some accident. And while it was kind of unfortunate, what the fuck is that sound? And while it was kind of unfortunate that it happened, the problem was it was actually one of one. So no digital scans, nothing to preserve. And I realized that it's not as permanent as we think. And at the same time, I was talking to a few people about what do people actually do to preserve that art, right? So some of them actually work in art galleries, exhibitions, and they gave me some advice that, the best way to actually do it is to actually create a piece and you just put it in some gallery somewhere while you're actually doing your storytelling and everything else. And that's more engaging and it piques curiosity far more than your traditional standard mediums, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So I wanted to tell my story through my body, right? And that's like the last thing that I actually wanted to leave behind. And I wish I could actually have a little bit more time and finance to actually look into it as much as I'll love to. And that's really just it, if that makes sense. Who does all of your Blender renders? They look amazing. That would be myself. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Although I have to say, the only reason why I do this is because I'm very fucking broke. So I have no money to hire anyone. So I just do everything myself. Yeah, but yes, thank you. That will be me. Hello. Fun fact, the first couple of Blender renders were done by Frosty, who was also the person that built my avatars in his first run, and now currently he's kind of busy with university and everything else. And of course, I didn't want to trouble people, so what I usually do is I try to pick it up myself and just be, a little bit more self-sufficient that way, so I don't burden anyone in that sense with what I want, right? So something I don't really talk about as much would be I used to work with bits and pieces of 3D for different things, like interior design studios. They want to build up a mock-up for a client's house, so I work with SketchUp Pro, V-Ray. I also work with Cinema 4D by extension towards Adobe After Effects and Premiere Pro, the whole 9 yards and whatnot. And I also work with a couple of different third-party solutions to actually have the results. And so I thought the skills were kind of like somewhat translatable. So I thought, oh, okay, it's Blender. So that's kind of like how it motivated me to move into a completely new suite that I learned that it's free and open source. That's actually really cool, and I have been doing everything on it ever since. It's not easy learning from scratch, and the interfaces, the whole workflow is definitely very different from what I used to work with, but I think it's pretty cool, and yeah, stay tuned. I may have a few more ideas down the road. So yeah, how do I get better at confronting issues head on? That's actually a very good question. And I'll be honest, I had this same question that came to me sometime not too long ago, but it was from one of my friends that lived near me. And we're talking about him struggling to confront some issues head on. And I feel like instead of looking at it from an angle where you feel compelled to approach it head on, maybe ask yourself this question for starters, like, where are you mentally when it comes to having a civil discussion about this with someone or the people that are, directly involved in this issue that you're trying to address? And would you be able to maintain your emotional aspects, so have an open heart and mind to discuss about the issue, but of course at the same time be transparent, because I think every successful conversation or negotiation usually come from two parties willing to meet each other halfway. And that's kind of like the thing that I cannot possibly stress enough, and that is you have to, don't forget, make yourself clear, be transparent about what you're expecting, what you're hoping to actually achieve out of the conversation, but at the same time, don't forget that they would probably have their demands as well, and you try to negotiate and try to meet each other halfway. If it's a very small, simple issue, like something matter of the heart, matter of the mind, I would say, have that question like, hey, be civil about it, but be nice about it. And it's like, hey, I have this issue. I was hoping if I could talk to you about it, something as simple as that. And if it becomes like one of those, when you bring it up, it's going to start and end up in a fight, then your chances are it's better to actually give it a bit of time. And, just don't be non-confrontational about it, right? You want to address the issue, right? So there are a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to actually do this. And I think this is a very subjective question because different people, different solutions. So if anyone has any, ideas or suggestions or what you think could actually help with confronting issues head on, and this question in particular, you can help our friend here by leaving it in the comments below or somewhere. I don't know where the comment box is, but it's somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but that's just my 2 cents about this whole thing. I feel like it's more of, if you want to get better at it, then it's understanding how many ways can you approach trying to prepare for the dialogue, right? So yeah, Or maybe you could just reach out to me in DMs and maybe we could look into the issue that you're trying to solve. Maybe we could find a way that nobody gets hurt and we have a civil adult conversation about this whole thing. Because at the end, you realize that quite a number, and I realize this, I'm still learning about this even now, that most of the problems that we have could have been resolved through having a chat over coffee, and that's really just it, you know? So you'll never know if it's one of those issues that can be resolved easily, you know? Hey, there's always hope, right? What is your motivation to keep putting smiles on the faces of the people that come to your shows? Now, the people, of course, right? So for myself, at least, for what it's worth, the one thing and one thing only I always tell myself, be it before, during, or after shows, and that is, without the people, the performer is nothing. It's as simple as that. Your numbers of followers and whatever engagement that you have don't fucking mean anything. At the very end, it's all about the people, because without them, there wouldn't be us as well, right? So for myself, I draw the motivation of knowing that there is a small chance that a nobody like myself, all in hopes of having a little bit of an opportunity to try and reach out to a few people somewhere out there in the world through what I do, that could help them feel a little better about the day that they're going through, right? And I still get stories every now and then of people actually having a really shit day at work, having a bad day at whatever it is, personal work, you know, whatever have you. And something that I did, and when they actually, you know, listen to the music that I play, I make, or they look at the skits that I do, they feel a little better about the situation, and it feels nice, you know, and I'm grateful that people would find that kind of joy in the content that I put out. And that's really the only focus I've ever put in, and I will continue doing that, right? So that is my motivation. What's your hottest take on the VR scene right now? God, I'm gonna get fucking canceled for saying this. Okay, so hear me out, okay? Everything that I'm saying here are but my own personal opinions. I don't represent anyone but myself. I don't have any affiliations with any networks, groups, or whatever whatsoever. I'm an independent, neutral party that speak my mind, okay? Personal basis. I wouldn't call it hottest take. I would say for the most part, however, from a lukewarm dog shit take, that alcoholism, right? So people like drinking in VR. That's absolutely okay. And I feel like, hey, you know, this is actually, you know, something, if you endeavor and you enjoy it, I'm happy for you. But my real issue is and always will be with the very select few who turn it into some form of competitive sport, right? And this competitive sport, in turn, peer pressures people who don't drink or cannot drink into that, which, well, spells out a complete different set of problems, right? Some people don't have a sense of self-control, or maybe some are just desperately trying to keep up with their friends in fears of, you know, being left out, for example. This is coming from a place where it's not just my personal, well, opinion, but observations and experience as well. I have people who would come up to me and turn drinking into like some kind of major sport. Like, what the fuck did you think was a good idea to risk yourself getting fucking liver failure, right? Like, I grew up in those places, and I could tell you it is fun to look at someone polish a bottle of whiskey in 60 seconds until you realize that you probably should call an ambulance, like right now, you know, that kind of thing. And that happens, imagine 52 weeks of the year, 2/3 of that is happening on a very regular occurrence. I can imagine working with that for many years. So I'm telling you that if people don't want to drink, don't force them, and don't penalize them by treating them like, you know, like an outcast just because they don't drink, right? I know not everyone does that. I know there's a healthy bond going on with more people advocating for, like, hey, you know, you can just drink water and stuff like that, and that's great. And I thank those people who actually talk about this a little bit more in their own ways. But the most important thing of all is, if you need alcohol to have fun, then chances are you have some, you know, issues that you might want to look into. I'm just saying, right? I could get fucking canceled for saying this, but this is my personal take on this whole thing, and I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. Like, do I drink? Yes, I do, but do I go blackout drunk No, not really. I just drink not just to socialize, but because I enjoy drinking. I do have my usual favorites, like my Hendrix Neptune. Well, if I could afford it, but I choose to cut down. So, things like that. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. No questions, just telling you your sets are the highlight of each Furality I have been to. Thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. And more importantly, as long as you have fun, right? That's kind of like the thing that I'm very concerned about. So as long as you had fun, you had a good time, that's all I care about. And thank you very much for making the time for that weekend. I do not know, actually, if I would be able to do Furality again, given the frequency of times that I've been working on there for quite a while with the teams. But if there is a next time, I'll see you next time. What do you look for in a friend? Huge I don't feel like I have the rights to ask of anything from the friends that I meet, because I always feel, if anything at all, everyone is unique in a sense where they're built out of all the experiences that they have, the actions and inactions that, they have gone through in their lives, the hopes, dreams, and fears that adds up all into what they are as a person, right? And of course, not everyone's perfect. Like, if anything at all, I'm one of the worst kinds of people that you should hang out with. I'm a fucking bad influence. I'm blunt. I generally am not very well educated, and I tend to make very poor life decisions, and I don't feel like I have any rights to ask of anything of my friends, right? But if I were given that opportunity, and just for the sake of answering the question, then I would say someone who at least could resonate with the values that I live by. And that is, so for example, my grandma used to tell me, in life, you should never lie, cheat, or steal. Keep your head down, live below your means, and just, have a good time while you're at it. Because at the end, all we have is the people around us and ourselves. So I hope, when I meet a friend, I usually try to meet someone that can actually resonate with that vibe. Then just do good for yourself and people around you, right? And just maybe, we could actually build something good together for everyone. And for me, I'm just happy to be here to do something for the handful of people that believe in this person enough. Like, weird skit contents that nobody watches, all that shit. But yes, I hope that answers your question. Coffee or tea? Coffee. In fact, I actually am having one right now. Can I jump on it? I jump on what? Like, jump on trampoline, jump on the staircase, skipping rope. I don't know. Jump on it. Okay, I guess. I don't know what I'm agreeing to though. Like, what? Ass or dick? It's a good question, although I do have to admit I don't really think about it as much. But I don't eat ass. I appreciate ass, but I don't see it as very appealing, and I don't really have much exposure to dick except for mine. So dick, I guess. I don't know, like, dick, maybe? I don't know. I'm so vanilla to the point that I don't know shit about the things that people are asking half the time. But yes, thank you. I've been listening to your sets, especially the last one, more times than I care to admit. And hearing your story, thank you for inspiring and doing what you do for why you do it. You impact more people than you know. I am very grateful that you took the time out to actually listen to the things that I create, and thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a good time out there. And I honestly don't really know about the impact part, because my focus has always been, create something that people listen to it. As long as they're having a good time, okay, cool, and then move on to the next thing. And that has always been my workflow, and I never really spend too much time thinking about the underlying inner works, like, I gotta actually put this on what platform, this, that, I try to keep it simple for everyone's benefit, right? But thank you very much. I really appreciate the comments, and yeah. Worst social interaction, go. I have way too many stories to tell about this one, and no, I'm not attacking anyone. These are just stories I find amusing, and no names will be mentioned to protect their identities. They're not bad people. I still talk to them, but I will say for the most part, maybe you could pick a couple of points out of this and it will help you along the way. Oh god, this is gonna be such a bad idea. Okay, so one of the worst I could think of was back in 2021 when, people were starting to have their normal lives back. The pandemic was easing up slowly, and there was the rise of conventions coming back. And what happened was some place, let's just put it this way, wanted to actually do this experimental trial of hybrid events. So you have not only DJs who are on site as con DJs, you also have people from VR to actually do a pre-recorded set, which is fine, and so they reached out to me and I said, okay, cool, I'm all in for it, right? So however, the thing is, I've never really done any convention sets, and most of the things that I do are usually at work, if anything at all. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll be happy to support wherever I can. And so did the set, recorded the thing, sent over. Then I think a week after or something like that, I bumped into one of these people who came up to me, and I shit you not, this was exactly how it happened. Some people would know about this. Please do not mention the name, okay? Just leave it as it is. I don't think they're a bad person, just very socially interesting. All right, let's leave it as that. That has in my face, in VR at least, it was like, oh, I feel so bad for you. There was no one dancing at your set. There was no one that showed up. But when I showed up, everyone was popping off here and there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, good on you. Like that's good on you. But what the fuck, man? Why would you say that to my face? Now, the crazy thing was, I bumped into them again, but this time in person at a certain con somewhere. And they don't seem to have the recollection of what they said to me. So I left it behind as it is. Although, I'm not gonna lie, that led me, to a rather bad taste in my mouth kind of moment, where later on I learned that I am not the only person that was affected by these things, and they have been going around with such tasteless commentary, if that is a polite way to put this. So yeah, that's just one of the worst social interactions that I have, and I would say it's no sweat off my back kind of thing, right? And to me, at least, it feels like a Tuesday at the office moment where I don't put too much thought into it. It stings a little. It's like, wow, like, what the fuck, dude? I don't even know you, but like, what do you want me to do about it, kind of thing, right? So I also would admit that my music is not for everyone, and it's kind of like a situation where, what do you want me to do, right? So I don't know if I should take it as a feedback when there's a history of this person going around doing the same thing unto other people. I'm like, well, okay, what's your objective in trying to make people feel bad about themselves, right? But I would say if you want to know more about other fucked up stories like these, feel free to poke me. Just ask me. Just don't be a stranger. Just come over, ask me. We can hang out, have a couple of drinks, and then I'll tell you more. The good, bad, ugly things, So I guess there's some perks in working in different industries in my time of spending all my time away at work. So yeah. Will you ever consider streaming? I saw your content when you're in someone else's stream and you do not realize how funny you are. First of all, thank you very much. But at the same time, I am very sorry for the noise, because how do I put this? I don't think I'm cut out for streaming, and that's why I've never really tried it. Because I feel like the things that I say and do may offend a lot of people. That's kind of like my fear. And while in some parts I would say it is me just trying to be honest with myself and really be me, like no mask on, just like that. But at the same time, it's also the commitment that's the majority of the reason why I don't really look into streaming as much. Manage streams, backends, doing asset designs. I work with streamers to create their jingles. Yes, I do. Or maybe do up the animation assets, the stingers, the transitions and stuff. Yeah, I do, But being a streamer myself, I did think about it because there were more people asking about it in recent years, but for as long as I had the Twitch account, I did not go live once. And the very most I'll do is to support my friends, right? And just show up at their streams instead, because they take this way more seriously than I do, and I want to support them with whatever I've got. So I would say, as much as I really do appreciate people looking into these little snippets that I have when I'm like just jumping onto someone's stream and just helping them because they invited me, I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's do something funny together. Because I don't know what's funny about me. Maybe my life is a joke, and it starts with my name. So yeah, but I will think about it. I will still think about it, but don't hold your breath. it's kind of unlikely at this current juncture that I will actually do streaming. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that you could support, right? And like, for example, Romuraisu, Ryloth, Love Juice, and several other people that I hang out with regularly. And on top of which, you also have, there's quite a lot actually. You know what? I'll just probably list out somewhere random. Please consider supporting these people. Like Bardic as well. Bardic's a good dude. Like I love their content. And, you know, it's all there's so many people out there you could support. And I don't feel like I fit in the streaming side of things. Game idea. Oh god, I wish I've seen this earlier. Have 3 chances to not answer any of the questions above or take a full shot for every question you want to dodge. Now, I wish I've seen this earlier. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, so from this point onwards, we will now do this, okay? And I'll have my 3 chances, okay? I think it's unlikely I'll actually use it, but, you know, let's make this a little bit more fun. I cannot drink alcohol. I'll put it out there first for now because of, you know, medical reasons. So I will, however, do oat milk, which I made it from scratch. It's kind of disgusting, but it works, you know. So yeah, is there anything you don't do? I bet your resume looks insane compared to most people. Thank you for the kind words, but no, I hardly think so, because I grew up with the ideology of effectively just, you know, I see work I do, I see food I eat, and that's really it. And it doesn't matter what kind of job it is, but that also led me to very interesting places that you at least expect, you know, to see, you know, places and faces. And I'm very grateful for all the opportunities, and that, you know, that with that said, I will still continue to work towards it. And I'm currently in an industry that I have never done before. So it's kind of like my personal challenge. That's why in my resume, I don't usually send it out to people, the actual full one. I just send out like the last couple of years, you know, the typical ones that you have. But this industry I'm currently in, while I cannot talk about it too much, but all I could say is that it's a very interesting way to look at how we do mathematics, right? How we incorporate certain thought processes as compared to how you would learn in school. Things that you don't ever get to learn in school. Even in, you know, many places I checked in with, they said, oh yeah, this is actually pretty, it's like a niche, right? It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I actually endeavor in, you know, the whole learning process. I just love the idea of learning as you go. And if I could learn for as long as I can, I would love to, right? So that's kind of like a lifelong process of trying to build yourself and trying to find out what you really want to settle down with. And I'm still in that process, right? So what I do is usually I hit to a certain level in the industry, and once I'm done with that, okay, I think this is good enough. I'll simply move on to the next and start from scratch. Once I'm done with that, okay, let's move on to the next. Once I'm done with that, I'll move on to the next. So it's also to expand my personal skill sets, and it's easier that way to actually do whatever it is that I want, right? So yeah, I don't, however, to answer the question before I forget, I'm not a stripper. I have a friend who works as a stripper in a club. She makes a lot of money. Like that was insane. I mean, I don't look good. I'm not sexy. I look flabby as fuck. So, you know, like we were just joking about it with her the other day. And I don't, you know, do anything illicit. I don't do anything, you know, that's out of the ordinary. I don't do gardening as much as I like to before, if that makes sense. It's pretty peaceful, actually, you know, like that job. I liked it a lot. What's that thing called? Feet finder. I don't do that. Can you tell my dad I'm sorry and that I love him? Okay, I'm gonna put the jokes aside for a bit, and if you happen to be the person that sent this question over to me, I want you to reach out to me in DMs and talk to me. Everything that we talk about, discussed, will be, you know, treated as private and confidential, and that's the least I could do to assure you that it stays between us, and I hope you're okay. I hope it's nothing too serious, and yeah, I will be more than happy to try and help you reach your dad if that's possible, right? It's not much of what I could do. Don't ask me for money, I'm fucking broke, but I could try, you know. Can you give a tour of how, oh god, no, fuck's sake. Can you give a tour of how it's like to be a I fucking hate that word. Fucking hate that word. I heard your name in almost every corner when I was at AC. I am so sorry. I really am. I'm really sorry if it got annoying at some point. I know how that's like. I am truly sorry and I hope it didn't annoy you too much. And no, I am not whatever this P word is. I'm just a normal person doing some little bits and pieces of things to make people happy in this ass crack of the internet, and that's really it. You know, I just go wherever people want me, and I'm unfortunately unable to give you a tour because I don't associate with this. I fucking hate this word. I really fucking do. But I do have to apologize if my name popped up a fair few times and it annoyed you, because I know it did for a couple of people. That was not the intention. I'm very sorry. And all I hope is you have a good time at least at AC, okay? And I hope you tried out condado tacos, okay? They were very good. I hope it's not too expensive nowadays, but the last time I was at AdvoCon and I had that taco place, it was amazing. It was actually probably the best I ever had in a long, long time. And I think a lot about it. I actually really do. I am a foodie. I fucking love my food. I would love to actually go there myself, but you know, it's pretty expensive. But unfortunately, no, there will be no tours because there's nothing to show, and I'm just a normal person, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you can get any speakers in the world, what will you get and why? L-Acoustics Cara 1. First gen, right? So 4 wedges on each side with a SB18 bass bin at the bottom. So you have a stereo setup, a couple of processors, amplifiers, and whatnot, your bells and whistles. And the only reason why I would still want that in particular compared to all the other brands is simply because I like its sound characteristics, and it's a really fuss-free setup, and in its own way, interestingly, you don't really need to do a lot of maintenance on it, right? Well, excusing the annual one, but from an engineer's perspective, I personally like its sound profile. It's very interesting, and I could throw anything at it and it will work brilliantly, and it sounds great. Not the cheapest, of course, but my daily drivers, for example, are Yamaha HS8s, right? And I think those are good enough, but if I had a choice, I would love to have that. And provided I have the space, because imagine I'm 6 foot tall, right? After I set everything up, it would easily be like around yay high already. So maybe somewhere around here, somewhere. Like if I put like 5 wedges per side, it looks about right. Yeah, somewhere around here-ish. Yeah. So you know, that's kind of like the thing. Space constraints, money, you know. How much do you charge to do a show in general? Short answer, I don't. But if you are a for-profit event organizer or event venue and you want to hire me, then we'll have to talk shop. We will have to talk numbers. We will have to talk about contracts, right? So that's business already. But if it's a volunteer-run event, or from volunteers to general public, or they're doing a charity fundraiser, or they're doing some kind of an awareness campaign to support certain their own local communities, or you know, foundations that they want to support, then no, I will not charge a single cent. It's kind of like what I do in the first place, what I want to do, what I want to focus on, in fact. And if anything at all, well, just out here to have a bit of fun, and I would like to do my part to support these places and events. Although I do have to put out there that I would need to actually reserve the option of looking at the dates and times, simply because, you know, there's only 52 weeks in a year, excusing the holidays and everything, and I have other engagements prior. For example, my job that needs me, and the projects that I'm working on and supervising, for example, War Drums comics, you know, and please go check it out. Don't forget that, okay? I'll put the link in the description somewhere below, somewhere. Okay, but yeah, so I hope that answers your question, and if you want to know more, just feel free to ask me. Yeah. Will you consider doing visuals like ValueFactory? No, honestly, no. I love Value to death. I really do. I always tell people as a joke that he's my aloe vera. So, fun fact, here's an Easter egg. You look at the album cover that I actually did for Furality's Somna Community Special. If you look closer, it was me holding a flower pot, and it was a little aloe vera plant on it. And that's the Easter egg, that because I hold Value's works and his personality, I love this person to death. I think he's wonderful, he's wholesome, and he's very committed. He's very focused on the things he want to achieve, and I hold that very close to my heart, because that's what it means to really pursue what you aspire to do, right? And I'm very grateful that I was able to do something that helped him actually find something in this space and to be able to do what he wants and flourish effectively. But to do visuals like Value, unfortunately, I don't have the time. I could do it, but for me, I have a specific style that I prefer to keep. If I had time and also, just basically more time to sit down and I could fix the GPU. Oh God, I think it's on fire right now. Something smells like it's burning. But anyway, don't worry about it. Yeah, so if I do have the resources and time, I'll definitely do the full-fledged vision of what I have in mind. But unfortunately, due to time commitments and everything, I don't think I will. And I cannot actually say yes to that either in consideration of other factors involved. I wanted to do the things you do for such a long time, and ever since discovering you, I feel small looking up to you. How do you feel about people looking up to you, and what advice would you give them? First of all, I want you to see me as a normal fucking person doing small, silly things for people, and that's really it. We're all just people wanting to, get involved in the things we want to do for ourselves and people around us. Well, some more so for themselves than others, and the others would be more so, the other way around. But for myself, I want you to see it as I'm just a normal person, and hey, in the bigger picture of things, aren't we all small in some sense, right? I'm just significantly insignificant as an existence in the universe, right? But if anything at all, I don't want you to ever feel that. And if you still do, and you're watching this, reach out to me in DMs. And I am sorry that you have to feel this way, because I'm trying to tell you right now, you don't have to. You're not supposed to feel small, right? I always tell, people, be it the students I teach or the peers I work with, that you're not supposed to feel crippled, you're supposed to feel empowered. And I know it's not easy to overcome that obstacle of trying to reach out to someone. And I'm grateful that you would look up to a pasty fucking Asian. Why would you look up to me of all people? Like, I'm the worst fucking, I'm not even a role model. I'm not even a model. Look at me. I look like one ball is like sagging and my ass cheek is probably one bigger than the other. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I will answer a question. Okay, I feel very honored that people would look up to me of all others. And this also means I have to continue putting as much effort as I could afford to give into everything that I do, because that means someone out there, somewhere in the world, is looking forward to something that I do, and I cannot disappoint that, right? And it's not just because of the whole validation and whatnot. It's not that. It's more like, if something I do could make someone feel something positive, and it could help them discover something, be it about themselves or the situations they're in or anything that they want to do, then so be it, I will fucking do it. And of course, within reasons, because, I have a job, I have to take care of everything and whatnot. I have to take care of my neighbor's cat. And I want you to remember this. And this is something I wished someone would have told me when I first started out in the nightlife industry, the entertainment industry, right? The showbiz. Or I want you to remember that behind every persona is a normal person, right? It's cool, they do cool shit. But I'm saying, so could you. You could do it too. I believe in you. And I want to see you out there, right? So I hope this reaches out to you. Come talk to me. Like, come fucking talk to me. Like, I need to, you just see me lying on the bed and just like that, I'll just lie down there like, hello. And that's really just it. I am a normal person just going about my day, doing a couple of things in my own efforts to reach out to people. And you could do it too. And I don't want you to ever feel small from that. Now, of course, that goes without saying that there's a lot of things we could discuss about, but I'll leave that for the conversation that would take place as long as you reach out to me. Okay? You be good out there, and I hope to hear from you. What's with people and making poopoo jokes around you? And and this is such a fucking valid question. This is so valid. I had this fucking problem for years. Now, this thing stemmed from me being very blunt in general as a person. So I suppose it spun out of control and people are thinking like, oh my god, he's into shit here and there. Like, no man, like, it's very blunt. If I gotta go, I gotta go, alright? And that's really it. I don't really have anything else beyond that. It's not intentional, okay? It's just unfortunate that the situations that I have found myself in and people found me in it often surround poopoo jokes, and I was like, fuck, you know, like I was like, this is pretty fucking unfortunate, but hey, fuck it, we vibe, you know. What's your ideal scenario for a getaway? I honestly would really love to actually see the world as much as I can, and one of those things would be to see the aurora borealis, and just, you know, just in a log cabin in the woods somewhere, and with a cup of hot chocolate or something in my hand, and probably walking around in my underwear in the snow, something like that. I don't know, but I just like peaceful, quiet nights where I could appreciate nature for what it truly is in its full form, and to also understand just how beautiful the world could be. And that's kind of like my ideal scenario. Of course, I didn't mention the part that I would like to actually throw away everything for like maybe a month, you know, like go put it aside for like a month, and yeah, you know, I want body pillow of you. Will you make one? I will buy all of it. You know, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate the question, but I don't know what's with people asking a lot about it. I'm kind of scared. I'm trying to make it happen, but I don't have the capital to make it happen. And I kind of don't want to do a pre-order because that means I don't have a ready product, and that's not how I operate. And I feel like I don't know what kind of body pillow to make at this point, if that makes sense. And all I am saying is if someone wants it, and apparently quite a few was mentioning about the whole not safe for work one, the PP and everything, I will think about it, right? I don't have a clear answer about this, like if I will make one for real, but if the demand's high enough and people are just asking constantly, then yes, I will put a pin on it, I will work on it. Because, you know, if it makes people happy, right? And besides, I never really had a body pillow until Callista, hi Callista, in case you're watching this, she gave me one, and oh wow. And so that's how it's like to have a body pillow. That was actually interesting. What's your favorite choice of alcohol? Hendrick's Gin, Neptune, or just a normal one? I don't really do a lot of different drinks. Sometimes, you know, I don't like mixing my drinks in general, so I usually do either shots or on the rocks or anything, and that's usually my go-to. We need a Loprov headlining water. Oh God. I'm very sorry to disappoint, but I don't think this is a pretty cool idea, but I'm just a nobody, and I don't think tickets would sell well at all, and there's a lot of things to you know, worry about when it comes to a tour like this and that, and to me it's just, I'm just a nobody in my own corner doing my own thing, and I mean, you know, I just play music, right, and that's really just it. But if there comes a point in time that I could work something out with people who are willing to support this idea, then yeah, sure, why not? You know, I'll be more than happy as long as you are happy, because everything I do is really just to see people smile. Like, but it sounds kind of expensive though, come to think of it. Yeah, so you know, we'll figure something out along the way. But until then, here I am. You do not sound Asian, because I have a speech disorder, so that's kind of like why I have been struggling with this. This was previously mentioned a couple times before, so yeah. Will the cons ever see a 2N live performance? That's a very good question. Now, because of, you know, a couple of main factors, such as Kazuki and I are very far apart from each other, and we would often need to actually have physical meetings, sit-downs, rehearsal times, and everything else. And of course, we need logistical support, equipment, access and everything, and a lot of plannings and stuff. So it would take quite a while. It is not a no, but unfortunately, it cannot be a yes as well because of all these things we need to overcome first. So it's a maybe for now, right? Loprov fursuit when I have money to do stupid shit. Until then, I'm broke from responsibilities. I don't really have anything. I mean, it's cool, but nah, like I can't afford that, you know. Saw you at Moonlight Festival. FWA made the right call to have you there. You look fucking hot IRL. Thank you very much. Thank you for being there. I'm very sorry about the queue system, and I'm very sorry that, you know, I hope the queue system was not a nightmare for you, and I hope you had a good time. And I'm just very happy to be able to work with FW on this one. grateful that they have me back on the second year, because last year, the previous one, I was at FWA's main stage, and then now this year was actually just at the Moonlight Festival, which, fun fact, I have never played an 18 plus event like this before. So it was kind of like me going up to the coordinator and ask, hey, are you sure you want me to play here? And they were like, yeah, go for it, go for it. And I will always remember this conversation, because right after that, it was all hell that broke loose. I saw some dude that, let's just say, some interesting things happened, and some carpet would have been ruined at that night, and I will feel terrible about it. So I'll leave that as it is. Come ask me what it is. Feel free to ask me for the story. I'll tell you all about it. It was pretty fucking terrifying for me to watch, right? So that's why you'll notice that there's a very obvious dip in the energy halfway, because I, oh, no, you're not puking on my dance floor. No, don't do that. Go to the trash can, dude. Like, it's like, anyway, don't worry about it. Ask me about the story. I'll tell you more. But thank you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Who is Mel Ikigaijin, and what happened to her? I saw her name mentioned quite a few times in Furality and your latest music. So Mel is a friend that passed away last year in June, right? And fun fact that a lot of people don't know is that, well, she's not a furry per se, but she's always been very curious about it. And she's one of the very few, very, very select few. In fact, it was one of the four people in grand total that knows I'm a furry. And in that, one of the two reasons of why I said, I'm going all in. I want to do good with what time I have, and I want to be able to support ventures and endeavors and help people discover their passions. And it was all because she asked me of that one question. So fun fact, the community special had one particular screen that asked, dude, aren't you tired? Because that was the exact question she asked me. And I remember she was sitting on my right when her cat was just spazzing out, just running around, doing cat things. And the cat was, and she asked me while we were drinking Sapporo. I remember we had a 6-pack of Sapporo, and she was asking me, dude, aren't you tired? And the conversation that followed after, which everything clicked in that very moment, that made me realize this is not what I want to achieve in life, right? It's cool to have all these things that people would have otherwise be either envious or jealous of, but I wanted to do something meaningful for not just myself, but people around me in particular. That's kind of like my main reason of why I even do this. So Mel became one of the very core reasons of why I went all in, as whatever it is that I'm doing here. And while I'm not at this, let's just say that I would prefer not to talk about what really happened to her, but we lost her last year, June. And the song that was released, My World Through Your Eyes, I worked this on with Isamu, and fun fact, that was done, written, composed, and mastered, mixed on everything in a single day. And that was released on the day that she passed away. So while I'm not in a position to discuss what exactly happened to her, and I'd like to keep it that way, I feel like some of us out here who know her personally have lost a star in their lives. The crazy tequila girl that comes up on Friday night screaming, oh my god, let's do tequila shots, but she's blackout drunk. And she spilled the fucking drink all over her t-shirt. And she's this bubbly, fun, bright, charming lady that had so much trouble beneath her heart that we don't know how to help her. And all I'm saying is that, beneath all the talents that she had, she could play the piano, she is an artist, she's an advocate that speaks up for the marginalized voices. So you could kind of see why some of the things that I say and do for, be it communities or individuals, are actually inspired by her as well. And I hope that in some way that if I do this often enough, maybe she would know, and if there is a heaven, I hope she knows that she's loved in this lifetime and she has never really left us. But sometimes I really tell myself, I hope she shits her panties halfway through the heaven, man. So it's an inside joke, don't worry about it. Is it true that you train professional DJs? That's some Master Shifu type shit, is real. First of all, I'm not that fucking old, okay? And second of all, yes, it's true. I actually train professionals, and I work with agencies and individuals directly, be it in parts of Europe, in the US, in Japan as well, some parts of Asia, like including China, to actually build their careers, their portfolios, and work their skill set up, into whatever it is that they want to pursue specifically, right? So yes, But in the end, I'm just a normal person, just doing my own thing in the corner. And I'm very grateful for all the opportunities. People trust me enough to ask me for whatever advice that they're looking for, even though I kind of look like I have like 1.5 brain cell fighting for last place half the time. So I thank you. Yeah, you know, but either way, yes, to answer your question, yes, it is true. Please come back to Furdu. I've never seen the Conrave packed like that until you pulled up. You're awesome. No, thank all the DJs for putting in the effort and spending so much time on making sure that the whole event is a success. Thank the AV for putting so much effort and also putting up with my shit. I love your AV. Hi Johari. Hi everyone. Oh my god, I miss you all so much. And thank the board, the con chair. Thank all the staff that actually made it happen. They worked tirelessly to make sure that everything worked out the way that it's supposed to. And I am honored to be there to share that weekend and that memory with all of you. And I really do look forward to the potential of going back there by my own, right? By myself, and just like, oh, you know, just go visit friends and whatnot. And thank you to everyone that made this such a vibe, right? And also shout out to Koinu and partner. Hi, you know, I hope you're all doing okay. Please take care of yourselves out there. And Saber, Corgi, and everyone else. There's just too many names, right? It's just like a whole list of names at this point. And hi, Rapson. Ah, yeah. And definitely Condom Kingdom. Was funny as hell. I've never seen a Condom Kingdom in my life. I was like, you gotta go to Condom Kingdom. I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And yeah, so I took the metro. I just went there by myself. I was like, oh, cool. What the fuck? There's titties on this thing. Like, wow. So yeah, but thank you all so much for making it happen. This wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for the people, right? I'm just happy to be there, to be able to do something for Furdu and everyone involved, right? Your favorite song, Pink Guy. Help. I'm kidding. I'm just messing around. Okay, one of my all-time favorites would be Radiohead, No Surprises. What's one thing you wish someone told you early on in your DJ journey? That's a very good question. So if we put the furry fandom aside and all the community level work and whatnot, and talk about me at work, right? I wish I had someone who could have told me that you'll never know who truly is your friend until the critical moment surfaces where, you know, your future depends on it, if that sentence makes sense. Because there's a lot of times in life where I found myself in a weird predicament where I thought these people were really people I could trust and count on. And then after you get thrown under the bus one too many times behind your back, where people are pulling you down because they want to have something of their own, using you as a bridge, for example, and really crazy, grim, dark, sinister shit going on, you realize that you lose faith in a lot of things very quickly. You know, not just the passion for DJing, but it's what's around the music itself that makes you feel jaded, if that makes sense. So yeah, there are days I wonder if you're gonna end up like one of those big content creators who end up doing some fucked up shit. You know, I think a lot about this very frequently, more often than I thought not, simply because I see peers who blow up out of nowhere and all of a sudden their entire personality changed, or maybe they were just fucking assholes to begin with, and they're just waiting for a time where they feel the numbers could justify my shitty behavior unto other people and stuff, and this is something I fucking hate the most. And I always tell this to anyone, and including you watching this, I'm a fucking nobody. I will always be a fucking nobody, and I'm okay with that. I'm not doing this for numbers, for clout, or whatever the fuck that is, right? To me, it's just a way that I could reach out to more people, and that's really it. And my main purpose is and always will be to be able to do what I want. Well, you know, do good for yourself and others, right? And to be able to put a smile on people's faces. And that's really just it. And I'm very happy to be able to do that as often as I can for as long as I can. Because if I were to do some kind of fucked up shit and stuff like that, it's not just the people who supported me that I'll be disappointing, but it will also be disappointing my grandma that told me to always do good for yourself and people around you, even if they don't believe you. And to always live below your means, keep your head down, eyes to the front, be focused, and do not lie, cheat, or steal. And gosh, you will beat my ass if I actually come up with something fucked up like that. Why did you finger the country sauce at Denny's? Oh god, okay, I was hoping we'll leave this behind, but Look, when you have sauce that jiggles like fucking pudding, that is so gelatinous, you don't know if you're gonna get an allergy attack eating it. Of course, I wanted to feel it, and that was it. And I was right. It felt weird. I did not eat the sauce. I told everyone, do not touch the sauce. We're putting it there. I'm not fucking touching it. And that's it, okay? That's all there is. I did not finger the country sauce at Denny's, okay? I just wanted to know how it's like, and it's fucking awful. I'm very sorry. Shout out to Denny's, by the way. I love the salad and the chicken and everything. It's nice, right? Everything else was spot on. It was stellar. To me, it was very nice. It's very comfy. I also like the coffee. It was pretty good. So, you know, I enjoy that, right? But can we please leave the country sauce behind? Please, just fucking leave it, okay? Just fucking leave it behind. When will our tribe be released? I need it in my life so much right now. Just left AC, and that song hit me so hard when it came on during your Furality set while I was driving home. Thank you for everything you do for us in the furry fandom. I'll always support you. Thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you had a good time and you drove home safe, okay? That's the more important thing. I'm kind of worried about that because I had some people that were rushing home. Let's leave it as it is. Something about shitting their pants or something, or they had to feed the dog or something. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, you know, this is exactly what I've been talking about for the longest time. I'm glad that you found a bit of joy in some of the things I do, and that's all that matters to me, right? If you're happy, I'm happy. And our tribe will be released very shortly once I'm done playing the other instruments, because I gotta borrow that. I don't have instruments other than the pianos in my house. So once that's done, I will track it, record it, and then I'll just finish the mixdowns and whatnot. Then we will announce later on, and ideally it will be the last quarter of the year that the whole song will be released, and hopefully just in time before I leave for some places in August, right? So I will definitely come with an announcement. You could feel free to check out my Telegram channel and let me know if you have any other questions, but usually that's where most of my updates and announcements go. Of course, you can check out my Twitter and whatnot, but usually that's like the first one, right? So I hope that answers your question. Let me know, and thank you again. It's the least I could do. I actually did nothing compared to everyone else that have been contributing in their own ways to the fandom. So, you know, I'm just happy to be here. You know, thank you. The intro to that new song with Ryloth is insane. I thought you two were really fighting it out. Are you two trained in acting? Fun story. Okay, just briefly sharing. That's the 1/3 of the entire thing. So stay tuned for the full thing that we're actually working on right now. But no, we're not trained in acting. I do study as much as I can about the topic because, you know, I didn't want to actually be a film director and film producer at one point. And I would say for the most part, no. I just, you know, from a perspective that I want to understand how each and every role works, while Ryloth was just pure talent at that point. I just gave him a few ideas of what it should be like, a couple of pointers, and then bam, off he went. That guy's insane, you know? So I am very blessed to be able to work with him on this, and stay tuned. We have been working on this, you know, back and forth, but, you know, juggling responsibilities and everything. So it's going to take a while, but again, you know, the Telegram channel, Twitter and whatnot, check out for the updates and announcements. So yeah. What the fuck? I remember the first time I met you IRL, you were screaming Quantum Kingdom in your sweet room, and I died laughing. Never seen someone this excited about an adult novelty story. Hey, you gotta understand this, okay? I come from a place where family friendly is everything, and you're not allowed to talk about anything adult in public spaces or anything like that. It's like that, right? So when you imagine someone like me who has lived in this kind of environment for my entire life, you just see, oh my god, plastic titties, holy shit, you know, like, of course I would actually be a little bit more, you know, enthusiastic about it. I thought it was funny as hell, but I'm sorry about the screaming part. I'm very sorry. Who did you hire for your mixdown and mastering? I wanted to ask you this so bad, but I froze up when I saw you. Really looking forward to Horus next month. That was a real banger. Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you had a great time at Furality or the other conventions that I actually played this teaser. I would say I am the one that actually does the mixdown and mastering myself. Hi, because fun fact, you know, sound engineer. I used to work in studios. I used to work in schools, you know, and other spaces that actually require, you know, an engineer per se for mixdown and mastering. And of course, I have my own preferred routes and touches to what kind of soundstage I want for, like certain results, basically. But if you ever want help in that, or you need some kind of a some kind of, I don't know, whatever it is that you need that you're not sure of. I don't have all the answers, but you could feel free to ask me and I'll do my best to help you, right? So yeah. Do you take music commissions? I'm a small streamer looking to improve my content for watchers and I really liked all of your music. Thank you very much for listening to my music and the noise that I make at some point. I'm sorry, but thank you very much for tuning in. And officially, no. Unofficially, I don't mind helping at all. And I don't usually put a price tag on the things that I do because to me, this is not work. This is like community. Like we're just happy to be here, just having a bit of fun. We're trying to improve our craft and trying to come up with ways to, enhance the value that we give to the people that tune into what we do. So if you are interested, and in fact, if it's of any comfort, I am actually currently helping a couple of streamers shape up a little bit of their soundscapes and whatnot. So if you want a second opinion for what it is that I can come up with, let me know between July and August. Right now, as we speak, I actually have a bit of time to look into it for you. So please reach out to me in DMs. Let me know what your ideas are, and I'll see if I can meet you halfway and we can work something out together. Okay. And of course, everything that I do in the fandom is a pay what you want basis. I let you decide how much it's worth. I will not paste an official price tag on it because that's work. That's really just commercial work, right? I don't want to do that. And the last thing I would want someone to go through is to go broke trying to afford something, and I want to work with what we can actually agree on, right? If that makes sense, because you gotta be comfortable, right? You gotta be comfortable doing the things that you do and not be stressed out, because at the end, we're all here to have fun, right? Loprov merch when? I saw your certified super fucking tired t-shirt and I'll rock that shit to my office every day. Thank you very much for noticing. And yes, that is one of the prototypes which unfortunately failed my personal inspection and tests. So I was actually making those as a stress test. I invested in those to actually try it out. I didn't like the result, but it kind of worked. So I'm very glad that you actually liked the idea. But fun fact, I wore that to the office and I forgot about it. And yeah, apparently my boss is asking he's like, hey, you know where I can get this t-shirt, man? Like, I was like, don't worry about it. I'll see if they still have stock. So I do not have an answer right now. I have lanyards. That's really like the only thing I've made so far. But I have a personal thing going on in terms of I do not want to pre-order. So I don't want to amass the amount of money and the next thing you know, people, would delay and stuff like that. I want people to be paying for a product that exists. That's kind of like my business, model that I actually work with. And I will announce the merch in coming time because I'm actually looking at two products, which is t-shirt and hoodies, but I'm looking for a production house somewhere, preferably in the US, to actually, manufacture this, small batches. But I need to do QA just to make sure that it works well and it lasts as long as possible. And if you happen to be one of those people that actually have your own production houses, please contact me, please. I have been having fucking headaches. I do have my own people, but I'm trying to figure out the cost point because I don't want it to be too expensive that it prices people out, right? So that's why I always make sure that my products that I create, the merch that I have, are always affordable at all times. And I don't want it to be like, oh my god, here's $50 for a t-shirt. No, I'm not Macklemore. Like, what the fuck, man? I'm not charging people that. So I want it to be affordable, comfortable, and very utilitarian, focused kind of thing. So please feel free to reach out to me if you think we could work out something, and I'll be more than happy to talk terms with you. So yeah, unfortunately, until that's sorted, I don't have a date, unfortunately, to answer your question. Oh my god. Please tell us. Many of us are dying to know. I'm pretty sure not many want to know. Are you a dom top? No. If you can have one wish granted, but it must be career related, what will it be? Asking for a friend. I want to play in an arena one day. Although that's, career related, and honestly, it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream for many people, I believe. And for myself, at least, when I look at places like Electric Forest, EDC, Lost Lands, Ultra, Tomorrowland, all these big places, cool places, Red Rocks even, I realize that there's a lot of hoops, hurdles, obstacles that you have to overcome just to be able to get there. And sometimes it might not even be the thing that you want, right? And there is so much uncertainty involved. That's why I kind of put the dreams aside. It's like, okay, I would rather work with something and work on something that I know is exactly what I want. But if there is one wish that could be granted, is to actually play in all those places, in my career at least, which it nearly happened, but we'll leave it as that for now. Oh god, I'm so fucking tired. Oh god, it's finally over. Anyway, thank you all so much for your time. This is 101 Questions with me. My name is Loprov. You can also call me Spencer or anything as long as I respond. I hope you're doing well out there. You can leave your questions in the comments and just maybe I'll be able to get back to you somehow. Don't be a stranger. Be good. Take care of yourselves. And you have a wonderful time ahead.